I'm standing in front of Professor Reddock, our friend Hazel Brown, Fulade, and several other women activists who I have worked with over the years, and in front of a very mixed gathering of persons, these young, vibrant, fresh faces, and on the table here with colleagues from opposing sides of the political fence, and in in terms of the other panelists who are making their contributions in one way or the other. And I want to say that I consider it a privilege to have been asked to be here this evening to participate as a representative of the People's National Movement in this important and timely discussion. Let me start by saying Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, and good evening. I am Nafeesa Mohammed. Um, I'm an attorney at law, and I have been involved with the People's National Movement since I can remember things about myself. And listening to the other panelists, and especially Sabrina, as she made her presentation just now, I was counting, I think it's about 21 days now since the general elections took place. It was the 7th of September, today's the 30th. And from then till now, it's a mere 3 weeks. And this is not the first time that I've had to experience a change in government. In 2010, I recall, when the PNM would have been removed from government. And it is a very trying time for activists across the board. But at this juncture in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, I think we have come a very long way. And we are evolving as a society. And I found this 2015 election campaign to be very different from all that I have ever experienced in my lifetime. And it's more than half of a century. And I say this because we are talking about some gender issues, and long before the heat of the campaign started off, I had to endure a barrage that descended upon my leader, Dr. Keith Rowley. And it was unbelievable that this was a tone that was being set. And of course, we all know that as time went by, how that unfolded with our sister Vanilla Allen Toppin and the comments and so. But very early in the campaign too, I recall seeing Jowelle on television, national television, breaking some barriers in our political evolution. And during the actual heat of the campaign period, I think both parties, the screening processes and so, would have adopted a different kind of timing and processes. And when we are talking about these gender issues, I think we need to look back at the screening process, because that is what would have resulted in the candidates that we ended up with for this election. And the timing of it as well. The UNC, is it the partnership? Would have screened just 3 weeks before the election day. The PNM would have started several weeks before.
That is not true, but it's not, that is
So,
not true.
at the end of the day, in that selection process, in terms of the balance that Khadijah herself was talking about, it is a process, and it is a fact that the political parties will seek to strike certain balances in the respective constituencies. And as the process would have thrown up whoever the candidates were, we had the elections and we have an outcome now. And when we look at the composition of our parliament, I will speak about my own party. I am proud to know that the PNM, I think, has 8 women who are now elected in the House of Representatives. And this is something that has not happened by some deliberate targeting. This is something, a reality that the People's National Movement has been dealing with for a long, long time. And I want to take you all back to the fact that as a party from its formation in 1956, there are certain core documents that guide this party that have guided this party over the years, and one of them is the constitution of the party. And in that constitution, from way back in 1956, the PNM has recognized the role of a lady vice chairman who must be part of the executive and the leadership of the People's National Movement long before this awareness and consciousness of gender issues would have developed in our nation. And over the years, it is a fact that in my party, that women have been the backbone of the party. In 2015, I was not a candidate, but I worked on the field with other candidates. And behind the scenes, women in the PNM played a very significant role in terms of the actual campaign. I'm sure you all know of Jo Newell-Williams. She's no stranger to the whole gender movement in this country, and there are others who would have played their part. In terms of the issues that continue to be matters that have been engaging the attention of the movement over the years, as a society that is evolving, we now have institutions that are in place to deal with some of these issues. And in terms of what is likely to happen in the future, I think that as a party we have been tried and tested over the years. And Sabrina, the fear and the frustration and the way that you feel at this point in time, and for other members of the whole movement, I think that we need to just go back to the night of the election results and listen carefully to what Dr. Rowley said. We are all in this thing together. And if we want to move forward as a nation, as a people, I think that as the healing process takes place, we are in a period of transition, and there's a budget to be delivered next week, which would have been in the planning stages from long before. And whatever the limited resources are, and so everybody will be clamoring for a fair share of the pie. At the end of the day, we are all in this thing together. We are in a time of diminishing resources, and it is clear that as a people, as a country, the only way we can really move forward is for us to come together and work together. Whatever the issues are, we have enough opportunities to be able to dialogue. And I think I wanted to, from the beginning, I should have taken the opportunity to commend the IGDS for hosting this type of forum, because the issues that we are discussing are issues that need to be discussed in a very controlled kind of environment. I come from a very strong religious and cultural background. And over the years in our society here, the kinds of tensions and so that you have to live through, it is a reality. And the thing is that if we really want to move forward and get over, because the younger generation don't really have these issues to deal with, you know. But in terms of our dialogue and our discussion and so, we need to be able to continue with it and to deal with them in a manner that we can bring about some meaningful and tangible results. And from my experience, having been in and out of government circles, the way how I see things happening and how decisions are made, how policies are implemented and so, you know, you often hear people talk about the low-hanging fruits. I think that, you know, sometimes you need to just step back and strategize and refocus, look at your priorities and see how best, because, expecting to get the whole hog all at once is something that is really, virtually impossible. And as these issues are being ventilated in time to come, I hope and pray that all the participants, all those who are involved in the issues here, that whatever it is, that there are institutions, there are opportunities for your voices to be heard and to continue to do what you are doing and what you have to do. I remember when the Equal Opportunities Commission, with the legislation, it was a big issue about its implementation. And in the pre-2010 period, I know it's in the Attorney General's office. I see Mr. Beg is here. And he's in the International Law and Human Rights Unit. So we have institutions in our country where if there are problems, issues, and so, these are things and matters that I'm sure that there will be other opportunities to discuss. And all I can do is, at this juncture, to make an appeal to everyone to allow the transition to take place. And we are all in this thing together. So let's do what we have to do in the best way possible. Thank you very much.